Welcome everyone to the second presentation in the Canvas Experience series here in exotic St. Paul. That's right, yes, applause is necessary. Today we have Irene Duranczyk, and she's going to talk a little bit about her experience using Canvas. And if you weren't at the first presentation in the series and you don't know anything about Canvas, what it is it's another learning management system just like Moodle. It does pretty much all the same things Moodle does, just does them in different ways. And that's what we'll get to see here today is sort of a comparison, and Irene talking about her experience in using Canvas moving from Moodle. So I guess, one other thing I did want to say too is I will be sending a follow-up with the link to view this recording, and within that link I'll have a live public course that you can go in and poke around and see what Canvas is like for yourself without having to sign up for anything. You can also request a Canvas sandbox to really dig around and see what it's like from the instructor perspective. And there's also information on, there's the report from the spring 2016 courses within Canvas.
It could be, yeah. Maybe there'll be a conflict now, and then they'll get echoing of me. I don't know. Okay. So this is what I built as my homepage for my graduate class. And you can really create a homepage to look like just about anything, and I can show you a different one, but this is the one that I used, and I did my homepage then with just a picture and then what all my units would be, or these are the modules of the class as I set up as modules. And I click on them, they open up, and I can show you that. I mean, I have a screenshot of that, but I can also show you here. It should come up. And you'll see this is the home page for the page that Tony, I was going to say Terry, and I knew Terry was around. Tony put together, and of course he didn't, how come it's not projecting? You don't know, because I have to go out of, how come?
Do you have it set for 2 screens, maybe?
I probably do. How come it worked for me earlier?
The mouse is on the screen up there, you can see it.
Yeah, we're set for dual monitors.
Okay.
So if you want to show this
Yeah.
there, we'll throw it up here. There.
Okay. So it's over there.
So it's, yeah, your mouse is over there. Or we can turn it to single monitor. Would that be easier?
It probably would be easier to change it to single monitor. This is why I came a half hour early, so I wouldn't have this problem. And I thought it was working right earlier. Yeah, I have 2 monitors in my office. And can they hear me now?
They can hear you.
Oh, now that I'm not doing anything.
You want to just do function F8 or anything? Shortcut?
Thank you. I was trying to remember that. It's been a
Yeah.
long time since I've used it.
Usually it's function F8.
See here. Here we go. Okay. There.
Okay.
All right. Whoops. I lost
there.
it. There it is.
Okay,
now
so I want to
whatever's here
come
is
back.
also there.
Okay, but you took that guy off to the side
Nope,
someplace?
behind.
He's behind here, so I'm going to come
Yeah.
down here.
Yep. So it's just go back and forth down here.
Okay, yep. So is this a live page here?
This is your
No, this
PowerPoint.
is my PowerPoint. I wanted to go to my live page, though, so
Right
it
over
should be
here.
right over here. And it should be here.
Yep.
No, but I didn't want to, I'm going to go to my dashboard. I can do it anyhow. Right here is where I want it to go. And so this is his home page, which it hasn't been built yet, so you can see you've got a free canvas there to build whatever you want on the home page. And you actually can pick any, build any page that you want to, or you can direct the home page to any page that you've already built into your, it could be, your home page could be a duplicate of your syllabus if that's what you wanted it to be. So now we don't want this page because now you're seeing, I want to, and I want to go back. Okay, from my slide. Okay, thank you. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so as you can see, I built that page, and I built it so that my modules would be sitting on the home page. If I go back, you'll see that these are the, oops, I didn't go back. I went.
Is this the instructor view or the student view?
That is the student view. This is the instructor's view. So I have a lot of things I can choose from, and I have a number of these that I hadn't used. And from the student point of view, then the only ones that show up are the ones that I have put in here for students to use. And so this is pretty much clean, and this is here. And again, upcoming assignments would just be listed on the side here. It's a very, very clean front page for students to take a look at. And so this was my statistics class, and I kind of used the same design, but of course I'm using different features here because I have quizzes here, which I didn't use in the other. I had some collaborations here, and I had more media in this particular class than I had in the other class. So this is the student view when additional resources were available. This is the student's grade view, and I set up my gradebook kind of nested. So I had, this is my graduate class, I had basically 4 different categories. I had what I called preparatory work, that was a quarter of the grade. I had 3 major assignments that they needed to work on during the semester. One was a teaching professional philosophy. The other one was a class presentation. The other one was a syllabus or training program initiative. And so all their assignments then were nested in one of these areas. And on the page of grades for the student, it would list their grades, but it would also then list what percent goes with which category. That also exists at the end of the page too, and I think I can show you an example of that. Actually, if I try this again, and I can come back to that, maybe not.
Can I ask a question? Did you add the tag prep work, reflections, prep work unit 2, or does Canvas add that when you say that it's in that weighted category?
Pardon me?
So, like, let's say I'm setting this up, and I say to myself, unit 1, personal journey, that goes in prep work, in that category.
Mm-hmm.
Do I title it prep work unit 1, or does my designating it in that weighted group give it that tag? See where it says name prep work unit 1, personal journey, for example?
Yep, I gave it that name. I put that in there so I could keep myself very, very clear.
It only says what you tell it to
Say, yep, yep.
Then how does it know to put it in that?
It's nested in there, so I just put it underneath my title.
Yeah, I'm just making sure I understand.
I can show you that. I just have to end slideshow and then,
Can you repeat that for online? Just, he was asking if it adds a suffix or a prefix automatically.
it doesn't add the prefix automatically. Okay, thank you. I added it because I wanted it. We talked about it and I had it nested and I said, no, I'm just going to add that phrase in front of each one of it so it's abundantly clear to everybody. So if I go back to my dashboard here, and that's my graduate class, so I'll take a look at it here. And if I go to assignments, I wanted to go to this course, and I wanted to go to assignments. Right there. Okay, so I then have my title here. I just put in titles, and then under each title I put my work. And so then if I come down here, I have my assignments. And so when you create an assignment, where does it go? And I put it under that particular title.
Settings, when you click on settings, is that your date? I mean, I see that you have the due dates written under there, but do you set under the little wheel, cog wheel there
Yep,
on the right?
yep, I set my dates.
So, is that why that's a live pages?
Yep, this is
So you just
edit.
and then you would add the dates like you do in Moodle.
Yep. And it automatically, once I give it a date, it organizes it by date for the students. So when they look at the gradebook, all the assignments are listed by date. So if I make them available, they're all listed by date.
This particular screen is sort of like the gradebook setup screen in Moodle. They're
Yep.
not identical functionally, but they're similar.
Yep.
Do you have a mic?
We did, well, we have this.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No worries.
So this screen that we're seeing on screen right now is the assignment screen in Canvas, but in terms of how it's organized, it's very similar to the gradebook setup screen in Moodle. It lists all the assignments in the course, and if the instructor's using weighted categories, Canvas has different terminology for that, but if an instructor's using weighted categories, then they are represented here by those headings that you see in black.
Yep. And so I made the headings for it. And this first part here, I made 2 headings for prep work. And it's because, again, of a unique characteristic of my classes. I use a cafeteria-style kind of approach to what I would call homework. I'm calling it prep work. It's the things that you would do to prepare for major assignments or for tests or for anything else. And so I give them an array of things to do, but they only need to do a certain percentage of it. I don't expect everybody to do everything, and it's going to be only worth 250 points of their grade. So you can do 400 points if you want to, but only 250 is going to count for your grade. And so I put all of that in here, and then what I needed to do at the very end then is take my points from that first category and just put my points down in here. So I had to do that manually, but I believe I had to do that manually also in Moodle, because it won't do that for me. I don't want them to get 0 on assignments they didn't do. I don't want them to get the percent if they got 60% on a quiz. I don't want them to get a 60%. I want them to get those 6 points, and then they can move on, and they could get those 4 points that they lost by doing some other kind of assignment. So I'm not penalizing students for any of their prep work. They just need to get to 250 points. So that's why I needed a double thing. And of course, as you can just see, you can just pick up and move things also if you'd like to pick up and move them, which is a pretty easy feature to use. Are there any other questions about the gradebook? I think I'll show you more from the student point of view of the gradebook from current slide. That's where I was. By the time I get done, I'll know how to transfer from one to the other without difficulty. And this is the student view, which is fairly much the same as my view, except it's missing all the other things that I have. But it's pretty much the same view as the faculty view. the student grades, then here you can see that structure I just showed you. This is the assignments in order of date, and it just goes on and on and on. And then over here, you can see then what's not graded, what the prep work was. And so to make it the way I use my system, I need to do prep work as 0% of the grade, because I'm just picking out the total points in there. And if it's a number less than 250, I'm putting it in here. And if it's more than 250, I'm just putting 250 in that box. And then the number of points for the other areas, so that they have that all right in front of them. This same area here is also at the bottom of the screen after all the assignments. It's down there, and it would then actually tell them what % of that they have. All right, this is what we built as a course view, and because it's a little longer, I put it side by side. There's this, and then there's this. The syllabus view built by Canvas has the assignment summary. That's what when you populate assignments, those assignments automatically end up on the course syllabus page. So this part and all this is what happens automatically. I don't have any control over that. That's what Canvas does. But what I wanted to do, rather than just have assignments there, I wanted the syllabus to have a bit more than that. So we put our pictures to make us look friendly, office hours and contact information. And then also I added detailed syllabus, like I would pass out in class. And since we have those major projects, the major project guidelines I also added there. So these things we put extra on Canvas. This and this and this all come by Canvas, automatically populated as you're building assignments and building your course. And so that's what the student would see when they go to the course syllabus.
Are there any options for controlling how that assignment summary appears? I'm thinking about, it's just chronological.
Yep, yep. Oh, so the question was, thank you, and by the time we get to the end, I'll remember. Do I have any control of what I could build here for assignments? And the answer is really no. If I created an assignment, it's going to show up here. The one thing I did learn is, because I had a few assignments that I didn't care where they did it, they didn't have a due date, it was due by the end of the semester, so I actually didn't put a due date on it. Those that do not have a due date, they all collect at the bottom. So they don't show up in the module that you put them in, they show up in date order. Yeah. No, I have no control of grouping them in any form or fashion. They're just listed there.
Is it alphabetical plus date, like if you have a competition? But what if you have two on the same due date? Because the one that's like I comes after P, which is how I do my alphabet. Prep and initial.
So I don't know if I have any up here. I
October 3rd.
I don't.
Yeah.
October 3rd, there are two things. Yep.
And they both do.
They did the P before the I.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I comes after P in my alphabet.
Yeah.
But no one knows what I'm talking about.
So I have no idea.
Yeah.
Can you hide?
I can only have, can I hide assignments? I can only hide assignments if I hide them and students don't see them, but I can't hide them. If they're open and there's a little click that you can publish assignments. I mean, I could have assignments that are not published and they won't see them, but I have them. But once I publish them, they will show up on this list in due date order.
In your Dropbox or your Turnitin, where is that? I'm doing this maybe out of order.
Okay, I'm coming up to
Okay,
that.
I'll wait.
Okay, yep, I'll come up to that. But maybe I'll get there quicker. This is another thing that I added in. I didn't see it again on the course, but I had a course readings put in, and I think this is another thing that Lynn did for me because I wanted to connect to the library, because the library builds course pages. And so these were the additional resources that I had for the course, and just built an additional link out here of course readings. And I didn't see that in the new list, and so I don't think that's still standard, but that's certainly something that you can have, your course readings, if that's an integral part of your
So you can
course.
add any link you want over there? Because when I saw it's more like, yeah, okay.
Can you add any link you want over here? Could I? No, I couldn't. But could I ask a teaching instructional designer to do that for me? Yes, because they could do that, yeah.
Do you want to say
That's okay.
just say there's a specific process for adding custom?
There's a specific process for adding custom links.
It doesn't copy over when you copy your courses.
And it won't copy over when you copy your courses. It has to be built for every course individually. But I suppose if we all wanted that at some point in time, we could add that to Canvas, which I think would be a great option. Yeah.
I'll write that down.
Okay?
Links.
This is a hard group. No, this is a very good group. Okay.
Yeah, what other comments are there? I mean, that's.
Okay, so this is another view of the course. I showed you the home page and how I had built it. And again, I didn't have to build it that way, but I built it that way because I wanted them to get through the major units of the course. But the other way is through the modules and the module unit they have. And here then again, I have all my major units. And the modules is the kind of the core of the content for students. And those you build as you're building your course. And with modules, you usually start out, the first unit in any module is called a page. And again, you can build that page in any way that you want to. And then I will show you, once you build that page, there's little arrows to the left and to the right of that page that you set up to start your module. And it's like reading a ebook. It'll take you to the next part of the module. Well, I hid my modules, my pages under my modules, but I have another screen where I'll show you how you can go from page to page in a module. But I thought it would be too busy, so I just kind of scrunched them all up here. I'm going to have to start speeding. So here, so this is the Unit 1. This first page here is what Moodle calls a page, and then the rest of these are sections of the modules that they're not called pages, they're just called, yep. And they can be, like this is a link. I put most of my actual content in Google Drive so that I can edit, and it's automatically up here edited. So this is to my Google Drive. This cloud is an actual file that I uploaded into Canvas, and so it's actually sitting in Canvas. This again is linking out somewhere else, and then these two would be a discussion. And so you can see what it is, but I have them in order in this module. And I basically built it and put it in that order. And that's what the student would see if it went to the module rather than to the home. And in the faculty view, when I'm looking at then the modules, I can then take a look at the modules, and I can take a look at student progress, and then I will see how many students have completed all the parts of that first module. Their names will be listed there, or the percentage that they've done.
Would that include, like in Moodle, the progress bar? So you would, like for a discussion forum, you can keep track of if they've met the criteria?
Yep.
So that'd be similar.
So she wants to know if this,
Yeah, the mic's right here.
if this progress, student progress on the on Canvas is the same as the progress bar as you would see in Moodle. And I'm assuming so, but I'm not remembering exactly the progress bar on Moodle.
How
So
do you set, can you set this up for criteria, like a discussion forum that they have to reply once, or post once and reply twice?
Yep.
that.
That I set that criteria someplace else, but this shows me their progress here. Yeah. So the question is whether or not I can set up for, particularly like discussions, can I set up what the criteria is? Yes, I can set that up and I can grade it. That's another feature that I want to take a look at with you in some detail. So I think the gradebook itself looks pretty much the same as it would look in, last time I looked in Moodle. The nice thing about this, though, if I click into this box, in Moodle you have to open the column and then go into it and you can do the grade. This I can just click in any box I want to and it tells me points out of so many and I can change it in any way I want to. And I don't have to save it at the end. And last time I used Moodle, I had to open up the one box that I wanted to do regrading on. I needed to make the changes, and if I forgot to go back over to the right-hand corner and say save, the next time I came back, I said, damn it, I got to do that all over again. So this just happens automatically. You also have the gradebook just in kind of a global setting without the gradebook. And with this, you can look at a particular section. You can look at one student, go to the next student, and then at the bottom of this page, it would give you all the information on that student and that student's grade. And I think I have an example here. So this, no, I don't have an example here. I could give you an example, but I think I want to go through the rest of these slides first, and then I'll go to a Moodle page and do that. For an assignment, this is what a student would see for grading an individual assignment. I put in, I'm using the rubric grading. Rubric grading in Canvas is a little bit more time consuming than in Moodle, or at least it was last spring. For every rubric, I had to start from scratch. I couldn't start with the rubric I already had. It doesn't, in Moodle, I can build, and I built my rubrics, and then I would carry it over to another assignment, do some tweaking of it, but I'm not able to do that here in
Moodle, there's a rubric
Canvas.
that's clickable.
Yep.
And will automatically tally up your comments and your points. Is that what this will do?
This will do the same thing. Yep, yep,
I don't
yep.
so much care if I have to copy and paste once.
Yep.
The instructor has to do it, then I'll hear about it.
Yeah. Can you, the question was, can you
Make a clickable rubric.
make a clickable rubric? And yes, you can. And you have choices in here. You can just have entering the points. You can have to enter points and comments. And you can also have a gradation. So you could add from 1 to 5 points and just click the number of points that you wanted to give for a particular item in the rubric. You can just have a box that you enter a number in. You could have a box and a comment box, or you could just have that scale, whatever the scale is, 2, 4, 6, 8 points for that particular part of the rubric. The difficult part for me was just I had to add everything in individually, and I couldn't carry it from one assignment to another. I had to build, each rubric had to be built for each assignment. Okay? This is then a copy of an assignment, and what I liked about this is I have the comments at the top, where I can just add comments right on the assignment, just pull that down and add a comment. I'd have my criteria here. Here are the criteria I have. I didn't have the comment box, but on other assignments I did have the comment box so I could comment. Here I just used it, so I added whatever number I wanted to add in there. And then as you can see at the top, this one I also had hooked to Turnitin, and I could see there that 2% of their professional philosophy appeared someplace else in the universe. And that's really low. So there was another assignment that I have here. And And I just think this part is just so, 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 so nice. And of course, I have to end the PowerPoint in order for you to see what I see here. So I've got to do this. I'm getting better. And so here, if this is an assignment that was built, and so if I go to Speed Grader, the lovely thing about Speed Grader, and I did this morning, you can actually either add an audio file or a video file commenting on the grading. So you could grade it and then make a comment, makes it a little bit more personal.
How easy is it? Is it like a one click, or does it record and upload it?
Is it a one click to do it, or how does that work?
I don't ask questions.
No, you can keep on asking questions. You just have to remind me to repeat your question before I answer it. So it's just kind of a one click. It says, can I use your microphone and your camera? And I say yes, and it records it. It says, you want to save it? And I could say no, and I could record it one more time and say it with a bigger smile or whatever. Yeah. So it can either be an audio file or a video file.
You can probably even demonstrate it right now.
I could. Yep. So if I just go here, it's media. Can I use it? I just say allow. And there I am. And I can click anywhere and start recording. And so I could just start recording, and I could tell the student how wonderful the work was, and I'm looking forward to reading their next draft. And then I click it one more time, and I can just start recording, and I can tell the student how wonderful the work was. Yep. And I'm looking forward. And then I can save, or I can get rid of it. Would you record again without saving? Yes, but actually I don't even want to record again. So I'm out of there. Okay. But so that happens fairly good. Students have a number of ways that they can do assignments, and I think this is a change in Canvas, but this particular assignment that was created, a student could just put text in the assignment, and so this is just text, and so I don't have that interaction with this one as I do in this next assignment here, where I now have my comments, and I can make a comment in a text box. I can highlight something. I can cross stuff out. I can draw circles. I can add typing right on. So I have a lot of options of editing right on. I can only do this if students submit a file, and it automatically opens the file. And that was the thing that I hated about Moodle, is I had to open up every file. I had to then do this work on my Word file. Then I had to upload it back into Moodle, and that was very time consuming. And here I don't, it just opens automatically here. If I go to Speed Grader, I do all my work here. I can add my grade here. I can have my rubric here. And then I can go and click onto my next student and keep on stepping. And with groups, and I've done groups, I can just pick up a group and group one group at a time and keep myself kind of focused with just one group at a time, and that works excellent also. And you have the choice, same as you have in Moodle, where if you have a group grade, you can decide whether everybody gets the same grade or you want to give grades individually for that particular assignment. And so you can add media, as I said, or just add right on the file itself and then grade it. So this, to me, is worth Canvas. This feature itself is Canvas for me.
Does it matter if it's a Word or PDF? Or what kind of
It doesn't matter if it's Word or PDF. They both work the same. You can limit, there's a little click box that you can pick. Previously, you could only pick upload a file or text. Now it looks like you can do both. But that first one we looked at was just a text file, and so I still wouldn't click that box. I would just click upload a file. And there is a place where you could limit what kind of file they can upload. In my statistics class, I found out they could upload Excel files here, but Excel files were impossible to read in this particular window. So I didn't have them upload their
How about Google Docs?
Google Docs. Yeah, works great.
Okay.
Yeah. So I will go back to that PowerPoint one more time. So that feature itself is just an absolutely wonderful feature. It took me back too far, didn't it? Yes, it did. How come? Gradebook is where we were. Grader. Quizzing. And so this is the other feature that I really, really, really like. These are a lot of the quizzes that I have. But the quiz feature was fairly easy to use once you have your questions up. But they're actually fairly easy to write. They're no more difficult to write in Canvas than they are in Moodle if you're creating your quiz brand new. And then you have same choices basically as you would have in Moodle. So I give students up to 3 attempts, and I keep the last attempt because I figure if you've guessed and you do worse on the 3rd time around, you were just guessing. It's not that you know less the 3rd time you take it than the 1st time. And then I also did quizzes in little groups. So for the first question, it may be one of these 5 questions. The second question, one of these 5 questions. Third question, one of these 3 questions. So there was some randomness nested within it, and it was very, very easy to do that in Canvas. So that would allow me then to give them 3 chances, and that little nested area may all be on finding the mean, but it wasn't always the exact same problem. And then I'll show you, oopsie. This, again, this feature, after the grading feature, this is my next favorite feature in Canvas. And so once students are done with the quizzes, I don't have to do anything. I just open the student analytics or the item analytics, and this comes up so I know what the question was, what the responses were, what the wrong responses were, and what the grading was for that particular quiz with students. It's just and I could just go through every question on the test. It's just all here by just scrolling down. And so it's visually very pleasing to look at, very easy to look at, and very easy to see what the results were. So this is my second favorite feature. I did it again. This was an example of a quiz that I have, what it would look like for a student. The questions, and I can limit whether they see 1 question at a time, or whether they see 2 at a time, or whether they can scroll through all of them. And then they also have the questions off to the side that they could just pick the question that they want to take a look at. You can do timing. I don't do timing of the tests. And all that is as easy to manipulate as it is in Moodle. And then I could look at, again, an individual student. And I usually, because I give the test 3 times, I don't give them the correct answer on the first 2 times, just on the 3rd time. But it will give them the question, and it will give them their answer and the correct answer at the end. And then content delivery, I talked a little bit about before. The content delivery is certainly, it's in the modules, and the modules then are, I have them nested under my units. That could be your weeks, it could be whatever you want it to be. And then I have them nested under there. And the next page, I think, which I will, this is what I was talking about. This is then my home page of my module, and actually in Canvas it's called Page. Once I build that, everything that I put underneath there is then next. So you just go next like you're reading a book, and so the next page and the next page. Oh, I want to go back and look at that last page, and I can move back and forth. So it's not a scroll, it's a moving back and forth through that module. And it's in the order that you give it.
Is there a way to get away from that? Because that's the part that I really don't like about Canvas, because I feel like it locks you in a tunnel. I'm here, right? I'm looking at the mic right there. Yeah, you think I need to be closer?
You have to hold it closer for it to move.
All right, I've been told to hold the mic closer.
So the question is can you get rid of this moving backward and forward like in a book?
Yeah.
I don't know what the answer to that is. However, I can tell you what I have built here, and maybe somebody else can answer it, but what I have built here on my home page is exactly what would happen if you went here. So I really have a belt and suspenders on for this guy, because
So-
everything is right here, and this would take you through that whole process.
So you don't need the back and forth.
A student could elect just to do it from this page rather than go the back and forth.
Do you have any way of telling me which one they use?
They're both, in my class, they're both available. And so I was thinking I shouldn't have done this, but hearing your comment, and no student ever complained about that, but they don't have to do that because my stuff is right here. But
So we developed multiple pathways through the content.
Yeah.
We created these, you can think of them as sort of home pages for each module or each unit in the course. And everything in that module is linked to this page. Alternatively, we also made available, at the same time in the course, you can see on the navigation bar, students also have access to what's called the modules page. And the modules page is just one long list of every single element in the course. One key difference between Canvas and Moodle, however, on Moodle you have that sort of, we make the jokes about the scroll of death, but you can create text on a main page of Moodle where you can say, this is my first unit, and then right below the title of that unit you can have a paragraph if you want to. On the modules page in Canvas, there is not a way to do that. You only can see titles. So for that reason, after we discussed our options, Irene and I decided to create these home pages for every unit and link the content internally, because we thought this would be the easiest way for students to navigate through the content without having to sort of suss out the structure.
How you built that page. If you could kill those back and forth buttons, then I would be happy. Those back and forth buttons sort of violate one of our design standards.
Yeah, the back and forth navigation buttons are a feature of Canvas that you cannot turn off. They're always there whether you want them to be there or not.
But you don't have to use modules.
You don't have to use modules.
Different ways of getting that content.
And don't you like not use the other
It's
built-in
just not
features
as
of
easy.
Canvas?
It's just not as easy to organize.
we're moving into a discussion here. And I'm done with my slides, so this is a great discussion.
You don't have to use modules to organize the content. I mean, there's a bunch of people who have reproduced the scroll of death in Canvas because they like it. There's a bunch of people who have decided to just expose pages and assignments and have students navigate through material that way. So you really could pick an alternative methodology for getting around. You don't need to use the back and forth button in modules.
Yeah.
And you might want to add in there how you can easily add those page links. Just click on the side and link to different pages throughout the course.
Right. So you could essentially build the scroll by building a page and then just dragging content from the files organizer or the links organizer or the content building tools onto a single page and scroll through it. Or, like I said, you could assemble that content however you like, as they've done with these pages here, where you have both the module navigation but also internal embedded navigation that lets you jump non-hierarchically through the content if you wanted to.
Yep. Yes.
Question in terms of is this going to go away? Is Moodle going to go away and we're going to adopt Canvas, or is this just a test? And where are we going with this? Any ideas on that?
I have some ideas, but you don't want my ideas.
I personally like Moodle.
Well, and I can address this. So this is currently a pilot project. Right, and so there will be a decision made coming up in spring here, I believe in February, is when the sort of ultimate decision will be made on the future of Canvas or Moodle. Oh, it's May, okay. Oh, okay, so May 2017 is when a decision will be made.
One of the things about Canvas is that it's more universal across campuses, other campuses, or not?
It's probably not as universal right now as Moodle, but we belong to an organization called Unison, which is a consortium of about 12 Big Ten universities, and they are supporting Canvas, and we're a member of that and pay dues to be a member of that. And what I read from Unison's webpage is if we're a member of that and we don't move to using Canvas, then we're wasting our money, because that's kind of approach for these institutions to work together and to collect and create.
Right.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem like if you can't transfer content, like certain things, like you can't transfer rubrics over. I mean, that's a lot of work. It's already a lot of work every time you redo a course, just
Yeah.
because you have to update your content, you have to, change things up. But if you have to change, your rubrics don't move up, your links don't cover, that bothers me. Doesn't that bother anybody
Well,
else?
no, most definitely having the custom link bar at the side having to be re-implemented. That's an additional step I hope is upgraded in future Canvas releases.
Yeah.
I mean, but there's a lot of other features that I really like. You haven't mentioned this, but one of the things I have to do in our courses is check over all the links to make sure they're still active. Canvas has something in it that you just click a button, it does it for you. I mean, I don't know, like, I feel like there's probably going to be a few bumps, but I feel like there's probably going to be improvements in the future, and also I feel like some of the improvements that already exist make it worthwhile.
I like the smart grader. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has a question down here.
I actually have two questions. So we've heard a lot about Canvas has this that's better than Moodle. So, and I'm an instructional designer, so this is mostly a question from the instructional design standpoint. But is there anything about Moodle that you would say is better than Canvas? That's question number one. And then question number two, as instructional designer, and I don't know what it's like. I work for the Carlson School. I don't know really what it's like for other campuses or other parts of the university. But, I have a lot of courses on my plate, and kind of part of what saves me is that a good chunk of those courses are copyovers that just need some minor editing. So is it even attainable to think that I could do 9 or 10 courses in one semester that are going to be a brand new overhaul? And I don't know who would answer
You
that
can
question, but-
transfer information over, a lot of information for my statistics class. I just transferred over. There were things I didn't want to transfer over, but for the most part, you can transfer things over.
Are you talking like quizzes and content, or,
I'm talking
because
about
the bulk of my
content.
work comes from like design, it's not creating quizzes,
Okay, no,
instructors do
Design,
that.
I needed to start from scratch on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so then my first question, was there anything about Moodle you liked better than Canvas? By the look on your
I
face, it
guess
looks like
not.
no.
Yeah. I didn't miss anything.
The one thing is, if you do a lot of discussion, I think Canvas truncates discussion at some point. Maybe they're changing that, but anyway, that was something that we found, was that we could literally run out of discussion space. If you had a really long discussion with a lot of students, it would truncate.
Oh, and I didn't run into any truncation. I had students in discussion putting in 800 words minimum or something.
I think maybe she means numbers of posts.
but the number of posts, and my classes were fairly small. Or you could use groups.
Features like grouping, groups.
I used groups in both of my classes, and the grouping feature was just as, might I say, silly as a Moodle. You had to do groups and groupings, and to me, there's a silliness about the whole process, except, and Canvas, it was groups, and it had used another term. Groups. Groups and group set.
Yeah, well, could they just ditch using the word group twice? I mean, that'd drive like group and groupings, group set. You know what I mean? Like they could just call it groups and sets. You know, that would have been fine too.
Yep. No, but so it's that part is pretty much
Yeah.
the same and works pretty similar. I
Yeah,
didn't
I use
find a
that a
big
fair
difference.
amount. Yeah, I make it.
I found students, for the most part, liked Canvas because it was so much cleaner. And it's also because it's set a little bit more. Faculty can't make major changes in it. In a Moodle, if I wanted to put this over here, I could put this over here. And in Canvas, this is here. And it's always here, and so it doesn't matter who the teacher is, it's just going to be on the left side of the screen. And so some of the sameness that it has, students appreciated because they're taking 5 different classes with 5 different instructional designers and faculty that may or may not have even used an instructional designer, and they're using a tool they've used it because they like technology, or they're just using it as a depository to throw things in. And so students' experience in Moodle is really, they're not really quite sure where to go for what.
That could be true in Canvas.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so out of respect for
Yeah.
everyone's time, we will wrap it up now. If you do have any general questions about Canvas, you can send them to teachingsupport@umn.edu. If you have specific questions for Irene, I guess I didn't ask you first off, but are you okay with answering specific questions about Canvas if someone
Sure.
has them? Great. So yeah, feel free to email Irene directly, and I'd like to thank Irene for presenting today. Thank you, Irene. And thank you all for coming.